Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Sunday, June 9th. Raining like the dickens out there. So, normally I reserve the weekend for kind of personal development and stuff, but I think today I'd like to have the topic be excuse me, what's more important? All right, trade school, getting certified with certificates for the different engines and all that, or hands on. Might surprise you. Hang tight. Alrighty, welcome back. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it, and Monday through Friday is the weekday, but this is the weekend. Yep, on the weekend we normally do personal development, but today we're going to jump into the topic of how hireable are you? And I get asked quite a bit about, getting certificates from the different companies like Briggs and Kohler and all those, and then trade schools. I think they're important, all right? But I think when it comes to whether you get hired or not, I think it's probably not as important. And what do I mean? Well, as an employer, what am I looking for? If I'm looking for, am I looking for a mechanic that can step right in and pull their weight? Am I looking to train a mechanic? You know, those are things that the employer has to put out there too, so that the applicants know what you're looking for. And this isn't something that you can fake it till you make it. In all honesty, I will grab the person that has a work history. And you're going to look at me and say, what? If you're coming to get a job from me, I'm going to first look at your age, all right? And if you're 25 or older, then I'm looking to see, have you ever worked in your life? Because that's important. I mean, you have to develop a good work ethic. And that should start back when you're, 14, 15, 16, you know, of doing part time jobs, going and working at McDonald's after school for a couple hours. It shows me that you already know what the value of your own paycheck means, right? And you've already figured out that you have to work to get that paycheck. So that's already instilled in you. So I'm looking for that. I'm looking for someone that, you know, knows the value of putting in, their time to get something in return. Now, if you're one of those people that have got that plus certificates, absolutely, that's a big plus. But if all you've got is a college degree or trade schools or certificates and you have no work history and you're above the age of 25, 26, I'm going to scratch my head and say, why? Why have you not been employed before now? And saying the right job hasn't come along will not cut it with most employers. Most employers are looking for people that are go-getters, that want to work, that know how to work, how to get along well with their coworkers. Most shops, repair shops, are looking for mechanics all ready to step into the role. All right. And here's the clinker: is how do you get experience if no one's willing to hire you? Well, when you're younger, if you get hooked up with a mechanic or someone that if this is your forte and you want to turn wrenches, whether it be on cars or be on small engine, most often the case, there's somebody there that is allowing you to work on stuff or work with you on stuff. Because that's the other thing I'm looking for are bad habits. Just, you know, taking shortcuts and not getting a good piece of work done when it comes in the end. Toggling it and it's not. You don't want to get with a mechanic just like that. The reason, the old school joke used to be is the reason that or the way you could tell a good mechanic was by the piece of crap that they drove for a vehicle. Because they had the confidence in them to know at the time they could fix anything on that car that went wrong. So they didn't worry about getting a newer vehicle. They drove an old POS. But they were togglers. And it worked well for them. But when they started doing that at work on people's vehicles, where they were, wiring this or wiring that, trying to save the customer money, and in the long run, it costs them way more. You don't want that. You want it to be fixed and fixed right the first time. Are you going to miss some things sometimes? Absolutely. But if you get into a shop environment, a lot of times more than one eyes are on it, all right, to sign off. If you're a shop and you got a shop foreman, that shop foreman is going to take a look at your work and sign off on it, whether it's yay or nay. And it better be yay more often than nay. If you don't have a shop foreman and there's just like 2 or 3 mechanics out there, it doesn't hurt to have somebody else put a set of eyes on what you're doing, your finished product. It doesn't say anything about you. Actually, it says more about you. That you want to make sure that it's right. And are you missing something? And you're going to find in a shop setting, if you have more than one mechanic, you're going to run into something maybe you don't know much about, but the older mechanic in that employment does. And those are the people you're going to learn from. Now, when it comes to the newer stuff coming out, the older mechanics are having problems, especially with the mowers coming out with a computer around the side of them, and the automatic chokes and all that. You need to stay up with it. If you don't stay up with it, it's going to leave you in the dust. And in our case, Claudia really is not interested in learning more about the computer boxes on the side. And the thing is you can't fix them anyway. So if they're gone, you have to replace them. So now it becomes a parts replacer versus actually doing diagnostic work on the engine. And the other thing you have to look at is how big the shop is. If it's a big shop and they're doing floor planning and warranty and that stuff, then chances are they need people to be certified. Kohler, certified Briggs, certified, you know what I'm saying. And a lot of times what they end up doing is they get 1 or 2 people in that shop that are certified. That gives them the ability to work on stuff warranty-wise. throughout the shop, all right? So if you're in that shop and you have the chance to go to these trade schools, these, they're not trade schools, they're learning stuff about the different, becoming certified. And a lot of that stuff can be done online now because they understand the inconvenience, and now they can do it virtually, from anywhere. You got the person that's working on stuff and talking, and they can tell that you're there, and if you're asking questions, and then you test out. It's important to stay up with that, of the new products coming out and what is on the horizon of what's coming next. The battery revolution is coming. It's just not if, it's when. I think we're going to still have a lot of the gas stuff here for some time, but it's getting, the manufacturer trying to basically do away with us. That's honestly, that's about the best I can tell you. Is because they're building stuff to throw away. It's not worth having that mechanic anymore work on your stuff. Now, your high-end stuff, your department store stuff, your higher end stuff from the dealers, yes, those are worth fixing. But the ones that they're selling at the big box stores, they're selling. Take the John Deeres at Lowe's, and I think John Deere is also doing that in their dealerships as well. The no oil change. Everything is within this thing. You just turn the old one out, throw it away, put this one on, lock it in, and go. That's all you do. That's your oil change. And most are being told, as long as you keep the deck cleaned out and replace your blades every couple of years, there's not much more you can do with it. So I'm going to start wrapping this up. I know it's not that long. What's most important to an employer is your work history. Have you done the crap jobs? And when I say crap jobs, when we're younger, that's where we call them stepping stones. Like your fast food joints, direct subs, McDonald's, KFC, all them. Have you worked at those places when you're younger and found a better job while you were working? See, you always find better jobs when you're working than when you're not working. So you can't sit there and hold out for the best job that you think you should have. It's just not going to happen. Because that best job that you want, it's going to become available, and you're going to go for that interview, and they're going to say, what is your work history? And if you have no work history, they're probably going to say, well, they're unemployable because they don't know, and they haven't been shown, and they haven't had the tenacity to go work at these less than jobs up to that point. So most employers are looking at the ability to learn and the aptitude to learn, and that you have a work history. Even if you're 18, 20 years old, they're looking at work history because most of us at that age have already had a couple of different jobs. It might be at the stewards or, a gas station, what have you. You need to get a work history. You need to start building it as soon as possible. And the sooner, the better. If you go to an interview, good chances are they're going to just check the box of unemployable. And that's going to keep going. And every interview you go to, they're going to say, what's your work history? And I applied for this and this and this, and I went to that interview, and that's going to even make you more unemployable. So you need to take the ones that they don't care. They just want a warm body in there, somebody working, right? And put in your time. And when it comes to a mechanic and stuff, you're going to run into two different things that employers looking for. And that is, if they're looking for someone to step right into the position and carry their own weight, then those people normally have got a pretty good work history and they're certified. They've been turning wrenches for some time now. And the other person that employers are looking for, maybe entry level, someone they can teach. So if you're that, 17, 18-year-old, those are the ones you want to get in on and start learning the trade with hands-on. And I'll tell you right now, the more experience you have, the better you are when it comes to being a mechanic, because it's the more you've seen, right? Time, experience is wisdom. And I think pairing you up with Claude, if you're a young buck, will get you more experience and more knowledge than what you're going to read out of a textbook. Honest to God. We've all worked with those guys that were textbook mechanics. They could tell you, but to physically do it, no. So, is there a balance there? Yes. But the number one thing is your work history. And if you're a young buck and you're watching this video, start getting some work underneath your belt that you can show on a resume to show that you're willing to do what needs to be done to be employed. On that note, you guys have a great Sunday. We'll catch you here bright and early tomorrow morning. Thanks so much for watching.